WASREB's Water Safety Planning Guideline helps to protect our water from contamination and ensures that every consumer has access to clean and safe water.
The team goes out every day. They pick samples and come back with the samples, almost like an estimate around 30 samples per day. They test for coliform and also E. coli.
As a consumer, you can also get involved in making this planning effective. Report any issues such as leaks, unusual tastes, or smells in your water to your water provider immediately.
In addition, we also do what we call regular monitoring. We send out inspectors to pick samples, test them in accredited labs, and where they are not meeting the standards, we have the enforcement as an enforcement strategy.
WASREB, celebrating 20 years of water services regulation.
This World Blood Donor Day, join us in celebrating 20 years of giving. Thanks to blood donors, I'm here today. Your donations gave me a second chance. Our healthcare heroes are grateful for your continued support and compassion. Every drop counts, and every donor is a hero. Join us in making a difference. Happy World Blood Donor Day 2024. This message is brought to you by the Kenya Blood Transfusion and Transplant Service.
Unajua, token mita yako inahitaji system update. Ni rahisi na ni free. Ukipata ujumbe kutoka Kenya Power, yani SMS, weka kodi ya kwanza kureset, alafu weke kodi ya pili kuupdate ili token mita yako iendelee kufanya kazi kama kawaida. Update token mita yako. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Kenya Power and Lighting Company.
Nilianza kuendesha boda miaka michache iliyopita ili kuhudumia familia yangu. Sio kazi rahisi, lakini inaweka chakula mezani. Wakati huo nilifikiria siwezi kushindwa. Ningeendesha boda kwa kasi, kukwepa na kuvuka barabara ovyo ovyo. Ningefanya chochote ili kufika napokwenda haraka. Lakini siku moja nilikuwa hospitalini kwa miezi 3. Kosa moja karibu liondoe kila kitu. Mwaka moja baada ya kutoka hospitalini, nilihudhuria mafunzo ya jinsi ya kuendesha boda kwa usalama. Boda ni life, lakini life si kitu bila usalama. Zingatia kanuni za trafiki. Hakikisha unavaa helmet na reflector jacket wakati wote.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na NTSA kwa ushirikiano na European Union.
June, the year of the Lord 2024. From wherever you're watching us in Kenya and also around the world, I want to welcome you very warmly to KBC Prime Edition, coming to you live from Broadcasting House here in Nairobi. We are waiting for the President to address the nation any time from now. we will be crossing over to State House. But first, let's take a look at the executive summary of the stories that we have prepared for you this Monday. Government deploys the military in the face of escalated security emergency triggered by nationwide protests over the Finance Bill 2024. Bloodshed as Gen Z make true their threats to occupy Parliament in protests over the Finance Bill 2024. Plus, Finance Bill 2024 now awaits President Ruto's signature to become law after it sails through Parliament in a day. Well, before we take a look at what made headlines tonight, let us cross over to State House, where His Excellency the President is addressing the nation at this moment.
Kenya experienced an attack on its democracy, rule of law, and the integrity of its constitutional institutions. An otherwise legitimate expression of the fundamental rights and freedoms of assembly, demonstration, picketing, and petitioning of public authorities by a section of law-abiding citizens of the Republic of Kenya was infiltrated and hijacked by a group of organized criminals. Most regrettably, today's attack on Kenya's constitutional order has resulted in the loss of lives, also destruction of property and desecration of institutions and emblems of our sovereignty. Today's events mark a critical turning point on how we respond to grave threats to our national security. I assure the nation that the government has mobilized all resources at the nation's disposal to ensure that a situation of this nature will not recur again at whatever cost. I thank our security officers who were on duty today for applying themselves to the best of their abilities in the defense of Kenya and its people. Accordingly, I have directed all the organs of our national security to deploy measures to thwart any attempt by dangerous criminals to undermine the security and stability of our country. As the people of Kenya go to bed tonight, I give you my assurance that your security, that of your families and property, remains my utmost priority. To the young people of Kenya, who I must thank for helping our country organize our democratic discourse around issues, I thank you and assure you that the conversation you have begun around pertinent issues of our nation will continue to inform our policy and governance decisions. As I promised on Sunday, this conversation will not be in vain. I will not only champion for the cause of issue-based, policy-oriented, and tribeless engagement on critical national issues, but also provide a framework for this conversation to be processed and its outcomes implemented. However, our national conversation on any subject matter must be conducted in a manner that respects and honors the foundational values upon which our nation is established, namely constitutionalism, the rule of law, and respect for institutions. It is very painful for Kenya that a conversation this crucial was hijacked by dangerous people who have caused us the kind of loss we have incurred as a nation today. It is possible that the criminals who rained terror on innocent people and attempted to challenge our law enforcement deployments are still determined to continue with their dangerous behavior. I assure the nation of the government's determination to fulfill its constitutional duty of protecting the people of Kenya against all forms of harm. I hereby put on notice the planners, financiers, orchestrators, and abettors of violence and anarchy that the security infrastructure established to protect our republic and its sovereignty will be deployed to secure the country and restore normalcy. It is not in order or even conceivable that criminals pretending to be peaceful protesters can rain terror against the people, their elected representatives, and the institutions established under our Constitution and expect to go scot-free. We must isolate crime from democratic expression and separate criminals from people exercising the freedom of expression and divergent opinion. I shall continue to lead a government that is fully committed to maintaining the integrity of our state, promoting the unity of our nation, and enhancing the peace and security of all citizens and their livelihoods. I am bound under sacred constitutional mandate to respect, uphold, and defend the Constitution of Kenya, which declares that all sovereign power belongs to the people, and that this power shall be exercised only in accordance with the Constitution. The government will therefore uphold its constitutional mandate to secure our nation and its development, and shall treat every threat to national security and the integrity of our state as an existential danger to our republic. Accordingly, I assure Kenyans that we shall provide a full, effective, and expeditious response to today's treasonous events. Thank you.
Nairobi, Kenya, saying that today's events marking a significant turning point going forward on how security issues will be handled by his government. The president indicating that the government, following the incident today, will put in place measures to avoid recurrence of such incidents. He went ahead to say that all organs of the national security have been deployed to check the agents that are undermining the security of the nation, saying that he has assured Kenyans that even as they go to bed tonight, he has assured Kenyans that their security is intact. The president also indicating that he is grateful to the youth for taking a stand, and that he's assuring that the government will not look the other way, but instead will have conversations with that youthful demographic around issues based on policies with the non-tribal angles in those conversations. But he went ahead to say that those conversations must be undertaken under the framework of the rule of law, noting that it was unfortunate that the protests were hijacked by dangerous elements. He went ahead to say that he has put on notice those who are hell-bent on raining terror against the people and that their days are numbered. Of course, the president concluding thereby saying that the government will find solutions to what he termed as today's treasonable events. Now, earlier on, after running battles in Nairobi Central Business District, police were overwhelmed by the protesters who broke all barriers leading to Parliament, broke the perimeter wall, and gained entry into the precincts of Parliament. The protesters trashed parts of the building, compromised the National Assembly chambers, and sent lawmakers scampering for safety. Giverson Maina opens our coverage tonight, following the address by the president with this report that happened earlier on.
Tuesday in Nairobi Central Business District. Protesters in their thousands trooped to major streets to sustain their Reject Finance Bill 2024 calls. Hundreds of anti-riot police were deployed to contain the crowds. But in sequences, police were being pushed back by the angry protesters. But as running battles persisted, protesters broke all four barriers leading to Parliament, and hell broke loose. After hours of running battles, police were overwhelmed by protesters who, after gaining or making their way to Parliament Road, even came and burned this particular lorry belonging to police service. And after that, they went straight ahead and broke the gate of the Parliament buildings. And after that, they forced their way into the Parliament. In their numbers, the protesters broke Parliament's perimeter wall, forcing lawmakers to flee toward the county hall. One of the nominated members of Parliament, Jackson Kosgei, who represents people living with disabilities, appeared to have been abandoned by his colleagues. He was being escorted by the protesters to safety. The protesters briefly laid siege on Parliament before marching out in the streets shortly before police gained control. Giverson Maina, Prime Edition.
Several people are feared dead while dozens are nursing injuries following the anti-finance bill protests in the capital city, Nairobi, Kenya. A section of them receiving medical care from makeshift medical camps within Nairobi Central Business District, where medics affiliated to various trade unions offered treatment. Those seriously injured were taken to Kenyatta National Hospital, where staff were on hand to offer emergency care. AFP journalist Collins Olunga is among those who were injured. In Nairobi Central Business District came to a standstill for the better part of Tuesday as police fought groups of youth protesting over the Finance Bill 2024. Here is that report.
Tear gas and gunfire shot rent the air in Nairobi's Central Business District as anti-riot police patrolling the city centres engaged with protesters opposed to the Finance Bill 2024 that was being debated in Parliament. Smoke from tear gas canisters clouded the city centre as police strived to disperse the demonstrators in a bid to thwart their march to Parliament buildings. In the wake of the confrontations between the police and the demonstrators, a trail of destruction was left in the city, with key establishments such as the City Hall set on fire. A Kenya Broadcasting Corporation cameraman was not spared either, as he was sprayed with a water cannon and the camera destroyed. With the contentious finance bill having sailed through in Parliament, the Generation Z protesters are vowing to hold another round of demonstration in Nairobi this Thursday. Joseph Ohungu reporting for Prime Edition.
At the same time, thousands of young people in the Coast region joined their counterparts countrywide in protests against the Finance Bill 2024. In Mombasa County, 4 protesters are nursing serious injuries after confrontations with the anti-riot police officers. In Malindi, Kilifi County anti-finance bill protests turned ugly following confrontations between police and demonstrators engaging each other.
This is the situation in Mombasa County. Thousands of youth, generally referred to as Generation Z, drawn from various parts of the county on Tuesday morning, took to the streets to protest the Finance Bill 2024.
Youth all over the county has come out. This shows you that you must sit down and think and rethink. Hii tax inaumiza mwananchi wa kawaida, inaumiza mzazi, inaumiza wafanyakazi, na kama hakuna pesa za kuwekeza katika kofu ya serikali, we have no position. We will fight until we get our rights.
Business in the Central Business District remained paralyzed for the better part of the day, with the demonstrations causing traffic disruptions on major roads. Chaos erupted when the protesters attempted to access the route leading to State House, forcing the anti-riot police officers to intervene by lobbing tear gas canisters. 4 protesters sustaining serious injuries. In Malindi, Kilifi County, anti-finance bill protest turned ugly after police and youth confronted each other. A section of the protesting youth condemned the violence witnessed and abandoned the protest in the afternoon.
Mimi nimechoka bwana. Finance bill hatutaki Omera. Sisi kama watu wa Malindi tumeamua leo, mpende msipende, mtaangusha hiyo kitu.
The protesters say their anger is directed at MPs who passed the finance bill and not the police.
Sisi kama vijana tunakataa finance bill. Tumechoka kutumiwa kama vijana. Kwa sasa tuna reject finance bill. Tunataka maendeleo, tunataka vijana tuendelee.
Meanwhile, the youth of Mpeketoni in Lamu County also joined their peers across the country in mass demonstrations against the Finance Bill 2024.
Kwanza kabisa, very disappointed. Kwanza to our women MPs and women reps. They have disappointed us. Hata hatuja participate in this. Wamepitisha tu hata bila kutu involve.
Well, we'll tell you shortly what happened in Isiolo after we come back from this short break. Stay with us.
The Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis, KIPPRA, will hold the 7th KIPPRA Annual Regional Conference in Kisumu County from the 26th to the 28th of June 2024. The conference brings together state and non-state actors to exchange views on the future of industrialization in Kenya, with a focus on the pathways in the bottom-up economic transformation agenda better. The conference will officially be opened by the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto. The key objectives of the conference are as follows: assess the policy, legislative and institutional framework in accelerating industrialization in Kenya, determine the capabilities for industrialization, explore financing for industrial activities, discuss value chain development, industrial crops, natural resources and emerging sectors, examine the nexus between demographic characteristics and the industrialization process, discuss compliance of products to quality and standards, explore opportunities of green industrial initiatives, and explore industrial development enablers at the national and county levels, as well as the reliability and opportunities in industrial data. To learn more about the conference, visit www.kippraconference.org or call 0724-256-078. KIPPRA, thinking policy together.
Asanteni sana kwa kuwezesha Loto Moto kuwafikia wengi wasiojiweza kupitia star 570#. Hapo umewafuta wengi machozi, umewaelimisha, umewapa makao, umewapa lishe na umewapa matibabu kwa namna tofauti. Asanteni.
Asanteni. Asanteni sana.
Na kwako wewe mchezaji wa Loto Moto, unajipa fursa ya kujishindia Probox nayo. Na kama Probox haikufai na umejishindia, tunakupa taslim 750,000 Kenyan shillings, na mshindi namtangaza 30th of June, na mwezi wa July 28th namtangaza mshindi wa Demio nayo, na kama utaki na umeshinda, wacha gari, chukua chapa 750,000 Kenyan shillings kwenye *570#. Wewe si mshindi tu, wewe ni tegemeo kubwa. Tusaidie na tushinde.
Nilianza kuendesha boda miaka michache iliyopita ili kuhudumia familia yangu. Sio kazi rahisi, lakini inaweka chakula mezani. Wakati huo nilifikiria siwezi kushindwa. Ningeendesha boda kwa kasi, kukwepa na kuvuka barabara ovyo ovyo. Ningefanya chochote ili kufika napokwenda haraka. Lakini siku moja nilikuwa hospitalini kwa miezi 3. Kosa moja karibu liondoe kila kitu. Mwaka moja baada ya kutoka hospitalini, nilihudhuria mafunzo ya jinsi ya kuendesha boda kwa usalama.
Boda ni life, lakini life si kitu bila usalama. Zingatia kanuni za trafiki. Hakikisha unavaa helmet na reflector jacket wakati wote.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na NTSA kwa ushirikiano na European Union.
As a premier public university in Kenya and the region, JKUAT is a renowned powerhouse for pioneering research outputs and groundbreaking innovations. Our faculty and students work tirelessly to push the boundaries of knowledge to come up with sustainable and innovative solutions that address the most pressing challenges of our time. From advanced agricultural practices to cutting-edge technological advances and entrepreneurship, JKUAT is a hub of transformative ideas and practical solutions. Our commitment to internationalization is a cornerstone of our mission. By fostering global partnerships and facilitating international exchanges, we ensure our students and faculty are exposed to diverse perspectives and global best practices. This enriches their academic experience and prepares them to thrive in an interconnected world.
Welcome back to Prime Edition, coming to you from Broadcasting House here in Nairobi, Kenya. Now, moving on, the contentious Finance Bill 2024 is awaiting assent by the President after members of the National Assembly adopted it with amendments. The bill, which was approved Tuesday, had legislators sharply divided on the floor of the House as the opposition side opted to withdraw its amendments, maintaining it rejects the bill in its entirety. The National Assembly, on the last day of the consideration of the bill, was characterized by dramatic stance from opposition members of Parliament who adapted the reject the bill, finance bill slogan in their responses to the moved amendments. Here's that report.
Day of consideration of the contentious Finance Bill 2024 at the National Assembly. Amendments proposed to the Finance Bill took the better part of the morning sitting at the Committee of the Whole House. The opposition side opting to withdraw the individual proposed amendments, maintaining their rejection of the bill in totality.
I want to express myself to the Hansard that my amendments stand withdrawn. Thank you.
But that was not all. As the chair of the Finance Committee moved each amendment, the voice vote by the opposition was a chant. Reject Finance Bill.
Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
At the end, the process would call for a division of the bill to proceed to the next stage. It is here that the opposition lost by 105 votes against their counterparts from the ruling party, who supported the bill by 195 votes. The bill immediately proceeded to the last stage, the third reading, where once again a voice vote was required, and the majority had their way.
First, the results of that division is as follows. Ayes 195, nays 106, Abstentions, nil. Spoiled votes, 3. The ayes have it.
The bill now awaits enactment into law. Tilio Marco for Prime Edition.
Now, a section of Azimio leaders from the Azimio One Kenya Alliance have condemned what they term as excessive use of force by police during the mass demonstrations against the Finance Bill 2024. Addressing the press separately at Parliament buildings and at DAP Kenya headquarters, the opposition leaders demanded immediate release of demonstrators who they claim were arrested by the police. They also called on government to listen to the voice of the people and reject the Finance Bill 2024 in its entirety.
Hatujawahi kuwa na tukio kama hili, Wakenya kuwawa mbele ya bunge yao, mbele ya wanahabari na dunia yote. Na leo tunataka tukashifu kabisa kitendo hiki cha kihalifu. Polisi waliotumia risasi kuua watoto wetu, na tuambie ya kwamba wote wataajibika mbele ya sheria.
Kenyans have demonstrated across the country, from Turkana to Lamu, from Kitui to Kakamega, from Makueni to Lodwar. Lodwar is in Turkana. Okay. In Garissa, the 47 counties of our republic, and all of them were unanimous. The finance bill must be withdrawn in its totality.
Religious leaders have pleaded with President William Ruto to listen to the voice of the many and respond concretely to the current situation triggered by the finance bill. While addressing the press, the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops said that the country is bleeding, calling upon government to address the matter with the seriousness that it deserves. Meanwhile, the diplomatic corps has also weighed in on Tuesday's events, calling for the respect of the Constitution. Here's that report.
We plead with the President that he listens to the voices of so many and respond concretely to the current situation triggered by the proposed finance bill.
We, the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops, understand the desperation of the young people. We have consistently called on the government to be responsible for creating an environment in which young people can use their knowledge to create jobs, get employed, or pursue meaningful opportunities. We are yet to see a clear and well-defined roadmap for this end. The billions siphoned from taxpayer money, for example, are enough to employ thousands of youths. In the absence of tangible initiatives, young people are right in expressing their desperation.
Now, hundreds of youth and anti-finance bill protesters in Kisumu City poured into the streets to voice their concerns over the controversial bill. The demonstrations remained largely peaceful for the better part of the day, with very few incidents of insecurity reported. Achola Simon was there and witnessed all what happened in Kisumu and filed this report.
The anti-bill protesters turned up in large numbers, incandescent over sections of the Finance Bill 2024. The demonstration started at the traditional start point of demos in Kisumu County, that is at Kondele roundabout, before snaking through major streets in the CBD. The demonstrators breaking into song and dance, occasionally standing to sing the national anthem, perhaps as a clear sign of their patriotism. Shops remained closed as many businessmen either joined into the demonstrations or stayed at home in fear of possible chaos. Police kept a safe distance keenly following the proceedings. Around midday, they dispersed pockets of demonstrators that had begun lighting bonfires along the Kisumu-Kakamega Road. Politicians kept off demonstrations, as has been the case since they broke out last week. No major incidents of insecurity was reported in Kisumu County. In Homa Bay County, protesters barricaded roads that lead in and out of Homa Bay town as they expressed their displeasure with the bill too. In Migori County, the political class joined in the demonstrations as locals poured on the streets to voice their displeasure with the bill. They blocked the Migori-Sibania Road, crippling the free flow of transport through the town. Achola Simon, Prime Edition, Kisumu County.
Now, rapid technological advancements in Kenya are shaping the tactics used by the protesters to transcend geographical and physical barriers in organizing, communicating, and coordination. In the ongoing anti-finance bill protests, the youth have leveraged their digital prowess to express grievances to the government with technologies such as Twitter Spaces.
On the fifth day of protests against the Finance Bill 2024, the streets were once again filled with demonstrators, prominently led by members of Generation Z. Unlike in the previous protests where political leaders led in mobilizing their supporters, this turned out different as the new technology took center stage in the planning and coordination of every move by the protesters. Many took advantage of the new online network platforms such as TikTok to share videos of the translated finance bill in different languages, including sign language interpretation, an initiative that has ensured that even those in rural areas can understand and engage with the legislative content, broadening the protest reach and impact. The youth have also leveraged new technologies to maneuver during the demonstrations. For instance, the generation of a USSD code to coordinate and report any emergencies, such as any arrest and need for any medical assistance. In coordination with volunteer medics that were centered in different parts in Nairobi city, injured protesters got access to medical attention. Digital software such as walkie-talkies for real-time audio messages were employed to outsmart authorities in a case to mobilize and reject the contentious bill. Martini Maslin for Prime Edition.
President William Ruto says that reforms at the African Union must be pursued with urgency and be in alignment with the aspirations of the continent. The president, while addressing a retreat on institutional reforms of the African Union, warned of the growing population of educated and skilled youth that needed attention from the African leaders as they represent the future of the continent.
Home team, President William Ruto was in Naivasha as the team, alongside the African Union Commission, retreated to deliberate on requisite institutional reforms to be sought in the coming years. Ruto calling for urgency in the execution of reforms, with a particular interest on the aspirations of the continent and its youthful population.
We must execute this reform with resolve and a sense of urgency commensurate with the magnitude of our challenges, potential, and ambition. Africans are highly enterprising. We have a huge, educated, young people, skilled and youthful, and are ready to play their part in developing our continent.
He decried budgetary constraints that continue to rock the union and the operations of the Commission.
A new AU for a new era is beginning to take shape, and the next phase of reforms, which I am privileged to lead, will complete this exemplary work. A critical reform that I shall focus on is the division of labor between the member states, the African Union, and the regional economic communities, as well as the AU specialized agencies.
Part of the reforms being sought at the AU include the elimination of red tape, enhancing accountability and member contributions to end over-reliance on donors.
There is need for greater internal efficiency and alignment so that we have a fit-for-purpose Africa Union Commission.
Je peux également témoigner, Monsieur le Président, que depuis votre...
I can bear witness to your commitment since your appointment as the champion of the African Union for institutional reform, the way you have been promoting the reform of the organization in your various statements that you have been making at major international fora and international meetings.
John Jacob Kuria, Prime Edition.
Well, Defense Cabinet Secretary Eden Duale announced that the deployment of the military is to help the police officers to manage the ongoing demonstrations. The Gazette notice that is on your screen states that the move was reached after a section of the demonstrators, of course, resorted to interfering with critical infrastructure. That Gazette notice also coming as a result of protests that resulted into the security emergency that needed the intervention of the Kenya Defense Forces. In the corridors of justice now, the High Court trial judge Roslyn Korir has jailed the 6 convicts who were found guilty of murder of the former Juja legislator George Thuo to 15 years imprisonment. The convicts Paul Wainaina Boyo, Christopher Lumbazio, Andrew Karanja and Samuel Kuria, Esther Dinda and Ruth Watai will serve the sentence arising from the mitigation and pre-sentencing reports. According to the prosecution, the convicts are said to have killed the former Member of Parliament on the 17th of November 2013.
Christopher Lumbasio Andika, second accused. Andrew Karanja Wainaina, third accused. Samuel Kuria Ngugi, fourth accused. Estan Dinda Mulinge, fifth accused. And Ruth Watai Irungu, sixth accused, to serve 15 years imprisonment. These sentences shall be deemed to run from the 19th of April 2024, being the date of their post-conviction custody.
Accused number 3 is my dad, and I feel very bad about Sasa.
Paul Wainaina was a very great friend of Thuo, and he wept when Thuo died. Thuo was a sick man. He had cardiological problems and so on. And Paul Wainaina still insists that he is innocent. He did not do any wrong to Thuo at all. So far as we are concerned, the sentence is harsh, and we intend to challenge it in the Court of Appeal. And it's my humble view that justice will be done in the Court of Appeal.
Kikohozi cha muda wowote, kutokwa na jasho kwa wingi usiku, uchungu kwenye kifua, afya kudhoofika, tafuta matibabu. Labda ni TB ni ugonjwa wa kweli. Ukipimwa matibabu yapo utapona. Daktari kushauri tumia dawa kwa nidhamu. Elimu tupashane tupige vita TB. Pimwa TB, tibiwa ishi poa.
Unajua, token mita yako inahitaji system update. Ni rahisi na ni free. Ukipata ujumbe kutoka Kenya Power, yani SMS, weka kodi ya kwanza kureset, alafu weke kodi ya pili kuupdate, ili token mita yako iendelee kufanya kazi kama kawaida. Update token mita yako. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Kenya Power and Lighting Company.
Kikohozi cha muda wowote, kutokwa na jasho kwa wingi usiku, uchungu kwenye kifua, afya kudhoofika, tafuta matibabu.
I'm Nadia Said Chepkemboi. I am 10 years old and my talent is to model. I realized I am in fashion when mom started taking me out for fashion.
Komando, 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 mwambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando. Bingwa TB, TB waishi poa. Bingwa TB, TB waishi poa.
Welcome back, our socials at KBC Channel 1. Moving on, the permanent delegate of Kenya to UNESCO, Ambassador Peter Ngure, says that the highest challenge to the adoption of artificial intelligence in Kenya is capacity building. Underscoring his statement, a young AI developer, Ephraim Mwereza, who's also attending the Eastern African Sub-Regional Forum on Artificial Intelligence, called for the need to empower the youth with relevant data resources. Our reporter Sarafina Robi interacted with Mwereza and representatives from different countries and brings us the story of AI in East Africa and the continent of Africa at large.
The second day of the three-day Eastern Africa Sub-Regional Forum on Artificial Intelligence kicked off in the capital. So was the grit and determination of 22-year-old Ephraim Mwereza, who has developed an artificial intelligence autism assessment report, generation and data.
Whenever a child presents him or herself, they'll have to fill in. This can be accessed on a laptop, mobile phone. I wanted it to be portable in that it is not limited into maybe desktops alone.
However, Ephraim's determination is limited to certain factors.
The skill set developers are trying to learn, but now even availing these materials, some of these certifications are quite expensive. So it is maybe a call to the government to partner with some of these organizations, like provide these certifications.
As the world embraces AI, Africa seems to be lagging.
When you go to developed nations, they're talking about quantum engineering. This thing will be here in Africa in the next 5 years. We are not speaking about that. In India, they're training quantum engineers. That is the next phase of technology.
His sentiments were amplified by Professor Peter Ngure, who is the permanent delegate of Kenya to UNESCO, calling for capacity building in the region.
Many opportunities that this country is intending to harness and leverage on, but we have demonstrated a very wide skills gap.
Tanzania, Rwanda and Somalia representatives acknowledge AI in their countries, but call for assistance to enhance it.
One, we have the Act, plus we have the regulator in place. However, one of the things that, as a member of Parliament, I see still needs a lot of effort, not just in Tanzania, but across the African continent, is the issue of data monetization.
Somalia's position in terms of the AI, there is a number of policies and regulatory frameworks going on in Somalia, especially the ministry is developing a number of regulatory frameworks, starting from the policies, laws and strategies.
The government of Rwanda put a press, the framework in 2023, which allows the people to develop AI applications.
UNESCO, which looks forward to the implementation of the Readiness Assessment Report, also calls for better policies.
From a policy perspective, governance, capacity, cultural, ethical issues and inclusivity issues. So the next step is afterwards to do the ethical impact.
This would enable young developers such as Ephraim and his colleagues to be able to catch up with those in other developed parts of the world. Sarafina Robi for Prime Edition.
On to the day's business now. Safaricom is blaming an undersea cable cut for the ongoing slow internet speed that's being experienced in the country, a severe disruption to their services. The telco now saying that internet outage was caused by cut 2 undersea cables that deliver inbound and outbound internet traffic. This comes just a day after the Communications Authority said that it had no plans whatsoever to curb internet after reports emerged on the social media platforms alleging of a planned internet shutdown by the Communications Authority.
In a statement, Safaricom has said that correctional measures are being undertaken to allow for full restoration of internet. The telco says the outage has been caused by an interruption on two of the company's undersea cables that deliver internet traffic in and out of the country. Safaricom, however, notes that redundancy measures have been activated to minimize service interruption as they await full restoration of the cables. The timing of the outage has raised eyebrows, occurring at the height of the anti-finance bill protests that have swept the country. Yesterday, the Communications Authority of Kenya dismissed claims that there are plans to shut down the internet during Tuesday's anti-finance bill protests. In a notice, Communications Authority Director General David Mugonyi acknowledged fears Kenyans raised regarding the matter, but said the government has no such plans. Millions of Kenyans have been struggling to send or receive money using the Safaricom network. The telco has since advised users to use USSD *334# for M-Pesa services or the SIM toolkit. Ndutamo Kami for Prime Edition.
Maize savings and credit cooperative societies and farmers have been encouraged to consider starting cooperatives to benefit from the economies of scale. The Cooperatives University of Kenya plans to roll out an e-platform to help aggregate maize from small-scale farmers, linking them to markets.
Maize farmers have been grappling with increased production due to favorable rains during the short and long rains. The government estimates the country will harvest 65 million bags of maize this year. To protect farmers from exploitation by middlemen, an e-platform will be launched to aggregate the small-scale farmers' produce.
What we want to do is to make sure that when the farmer, through the agricultural cooperative, wants to reach the market, they reach the market directly, not through the middlemen.
The platform will also link small-scale farmers with millers to stabilize maize prices.
Wana transport ya kutoa kwa shamba, kwa soo yetu, kupeleka kwa pahali na. Last year tulijaribu kupeleka kwa Kagio. Na vile ilishindikana kwa sababu lori ni ya kukodesha. Na ukienda huko upange line siku 2, 3, 4. Sasa ile faida ulikuwa unapata inapotelea huko nje.
Have a quick impact in the development of the country. There is need to put more resources in the cooperative sector, because through that we expect to see a lot of transformation.
The e-platform will also link farmers with storage facilities to reduce maize post-harvest losses. Farmers will also receive drying equipment and other government extension services and subsidy programs.
Wakulima watakuwa na one-stop shop, wanapata fertilizer, wanapata dawa, wanapata mbegu na wanapata chakula ya ng'ombe kutoka kwa cooperative.
Kenya expects to resume coffee exports to China next month. The Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service Managing Director Theophilus Mutheu says talks between Kenya and China have concluded, with Beijing adding that coffee from Kenya in its import list.
According to the Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service, 15 companies have already received clearance to start coffee shipments to China. KEFI's Managing Director Theophilus Mutheu says already China has made changes to its import list and schedule and included Kenyan coffee as one of their import commodities after Nairobi and Beijing concluded talks.
Yeah, there was an issue of the Chinese market whereby we have to register all the coffee exporting countries with the GSCC, that is General Customs of China. It's only those farms which are registered with KEFIS, inspected and registered with KEFIS, and those names we normally forward them to GSCC for update. They had not updated for a long time, and that's the reason why our exporters could not export.
This comes after KEFIS completed setting up a 78 million export and import integrated system that is expected to see paperless issuance of import and export certificates.
It's facilitative, it is efficient, it is effective,
and it makes the whole process seamless.
The e-platform is expected to lower the cost of imports and exports by 15%.
Crop living in Kenya coming in must go through the solution. And one of the major highlights is that it's actually integrated to IPPC, which is the international system for the e-phyto. And that makes business quite easy.
We all know why intra-Africa trade is very low is because of the high costs of doing business. This system is going to reduce transaction costs by around 15%.
The automated system will also enhance plant surveillance efforts, with KEFIS saying it will now easily trace imported foods from the country of origin to the final consumers. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
This World Blood Donor Day, join us in celebrating 20 years of giving. Thanks to blood donors, I'm here today. Your donations gave me a second chance.
Amparo, did something happen to Reynaldo?
No. Listen, I don't get it. What happened, and why are you here, Amparo?
Amparo, please tell me where's Reynaldo.
Lucila, you don't have to worry because he's doing really well and he's having so much fun. He's enjoying himself.
This message is brought to you by the Kenya Blood Transfusion and Transplant Service.
Viongozi wakati mwingine huhitajika kufanya maamuzi ya haraka, hasa kwa jambo kama hili.
Lakini mimi sikufikiria kama uongozi ni mzigo mkubwa kiasi hiki.
Sasa hii ninavyokuambia dadangu, wacha taratibu. Kalume na Nuru wamekuwa kitu kingi.
Wewe bwana usimdanganye.
Tarajia mgeni. Ala, mgeni. Jasiri ama?
Hivi nyanya, mwanamume utafuta nini hasa kwa mwanamke ndio ili ampende kwa mara ya kwanza?
Sports News is brought to you by Mozart Bet.
Let's now look at the day sports. The national women's volleyball team, Malkia Strikers, has received a boost of 2 million Kenya shillings from Mozart Bet for the forthcoming FIVP Challenge Cup and Paris Olympic Games. The team will be heading to Miramas, France after the Challenger Cup in the Philippines to prepare for the Olympic Games set for the 24th of July, running all the way to the 11th of August this year.
The sponsorship is an addition to the 15 million shillings from Mozartbet to the team, which has been training at Kasarani in preparation for the two events.
We will continue to support generally sports, generally communities across Kenya, because we saw that sponsorship, we saw the results. The results are here thanks to the God.
Malkia Strikers is set to participate in the FIVB Challenger Cup, scheduled from 1st to 7th of July in Philippines, with the squad scheduled to depart for Philippines this Saturday.
We are going to look at the consistency of a player throughout the training that we have had here, and how we are going to look at three things: the defense on the net, the attack, and the consistency of a player.
In Philippines, the Kenya team will take on Puerto Rico with a host of friendly matches lined up before the Challenger Cup.
You can secure friendly matches with any team that you are not going to directly face. It will be a very big uplifting opportunity for us.
The government, of course, has revised the scheme for allowances for the players when in camp. We are also revising the allowances for the team if they win a medal at the Olympics. We are also revising the foreign allowances when the team is out there.
After the Philippines tournament, Kenya is set to head to Miramas, France to prepare for the Olympic Games, set to be held from 24th of July to 11th of August, where they're looking forward to a good campaign.
The Kenya national Kabaddi men's team were off to a winning after the African Men's Kabaddi Cup got underway at Kasarani today with an outstanding 63-38 defeat of Zanzibar in the opening match.
The Kenya men's team made their intentions clear when they welcomed the rest of the continent in the one-week Africans Men's Kabaddi Cup, which has attracted 9 teams. They took the lead with 39 points against 21 after halftime. Zanzibar tried to get back into the game after the break, but they could not resist the host, who won 63-38. South Sudan were also off to a winning start with a resounding 70-35 defeat on Zambia in Pool A, which has also drawn Rwanda and DRC. The one-week tournament continues tomorrow, with Kenya looking forward to retain the title to secure a slot to represent Africa in the upcoming Kabaddi World Cup set for December and January in Dubai.
Kenya Police Bullets Football Club are poised to be crowned the new Football Kenya Federation Women's Premier League champions, with the curtains closing on the 2023-2024 season tomorrow. Police are set to play Bunyore Starlets at Jomo Kenyatta Mamboleo Stadium in Kisumu City, with the disciplined forces side set to be crowned the winners regardless of the match day results. Police have collected a total of 46 points from 21 matches and were declared champions with 2 matches to spare in their debut. 3-time champions Vihiga Queens and Ulinzi Starlets are set to finish in 2nd and 3rd positions respectively. The relegation battle sees Soka Assassins and Zitex Sparks all playing to avoid the chop. Gaspo Women and Trans Nzoia Falcons are already relegated. Kenya Police Bullets FC will then represent the country in the Sekafa CAF Women's Champions League matches later on in the year.
We respect Bunyore. We know they are a tough side. We know they will bring they'll play a good game. We know they will want to end the unbeaten streak that we have. But we're going to give our best to ensure that we wear medals with happiness and in pride.
Sababu it's a last match na tunaicheza bado kama finali. Ile kitu itakuwa inatusukuma sisi kama team, ile slogan yetu hatuwezi waacha. Kitu kingine, tuko na mafans wetu wote na tuna wakubwa wetu hapo, so lazima tuwaoneshe hii kikombe ilifaa tuchukue, ilikuwa ni yetu, hatukuchukua kubaya.
That's sports.
Sports News was brought to you by Mozart Bet.
You can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Well, that brings us to the end of this live broadcast. I want to thank you on behalf of the Prime Edition team, including our sign language interpreter. I want to thank you so much for watching. I will be back again tomorrow. My name is Tomboya. Good night from Nairobi, Kenya.
Maji ni uhai, maji ni haki yako.
Je, unajua kwamba wizi wa maji ni uhalifu unaoathiri sisi sote? Hata hivyo, wateja wengi wa maji husalia kimya bila kufahamu madhara yake.
What do you want?
Mbosire gwe, usinjaribu kutumia njina yangu in vain gwe.
Tito, you have forgotten your famous quote. Wacha niende msiniambukise ujinga.
Please, just let's leave it, okay? Now, where are the rest?
Wasreb, tunaadhimisha miaka 20 ya udhibiti wa huduma za maji.
Watch the Mozartbet Cup as teams from both the top tier and low tier battle for the ultimate prize of representing the country in Africa's CAF Confederations Cup. Catch all the action live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, beginning with a round of 16 matches, the quarter-final, semi-final, and the final. Mozartbet Cup, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Las bandidas.
Los recuerdos que me llevan a soñar, bandidas las que un día aprendieron a amar. Dulces como tus besos, dulce el sabor del tiempo, como un barril añejo, todo un recuerdo, son las bandidas de mi corazón. Bandidas, bandidas, los recuerdos que me llevan a soñar. Bandidas, bandidas, tú y yo nos volvemos a encontrar. Tomaremos otra copa hasta el final.
Las bandidas.
For now, the only thing that I want you to focus on is our wedding. Huh?
Oh my goodness, I can't take this any longer. I can't.
Can you stop lying, Gaspar? Because Olegario won't go after someone for no reason at all. So why is he after you?
What happened to us? I want to know what happened. For us to have ended up like this.
Hector Aljure.
At last I found you.
Dinora, I'm so sorry. Well, right now, I don't feel well, and I know that the two of us have been very happy. But I really don't think this is the right time to talk. Martha. Yes, well, I went there and I left you a message. You see, I was wondering if you had time to meet me because I wanted to discuss the document together.
Los Girasones.
I have nothing to do with Olegario Montoya, and I do not know.
Gaspar, you know that devious man. In fact, you know him quite well. And you did warn me about him, remember? Remember?
Listen, boy. Maybe I did. And maybe I didn't. I mean, it's been so many bottles ago that, I just don't remember. And besides, it's unpleasant to talk about that pompous jerk, Olegario Montoya. Why don't we talk about your mom? So how's Zenaida? Is she still working until now at Las Bandidas?
Yes, she is. She's still working at the same ranch. She's been there for many years now.
She's loyal and quite selfless. Zenaida was a woman who's kind but so strong at the same time. That's what I remember. You weren't born yet. I never knew who your father was.
I never knew him, Gaspar. He died after I was born. And here I am. I'm now 23 years old and I have a lot of work to do in this ranch.
23 years old? I didn't realize that so much time has gone by since the last time I saw your mother. The twists and turns of life. Ruben, the son of Zenaida. It's been 23 years. He's 23 years old.
Till now, Ruben hasn't called me, and he doesn't answer my calls either. But at least it's good to know that he has a stable job.
Yeah. He is still quite resentful. Well, what he went through was pretty tough, right? But I know that he's going to get through this. What worries me is that Gaspar.
Gaspar what?
Well, Zenaida. One time Ruben and I were talking. Gaspar came in and heard us. Now Gaspar knows that Ruben is his son.
I just knew it.